Lean Six Sigma. It promises so much, right? Near perfect processes. But let's be real. If you've actually tried to implement it, you know the reality is often, well, it's messy. We're always taught to focus on the stats, the charts, the data. But the real challenges, the ones that completely derail these huge initiatives, they're almost never about the math.
I love this quote. Why does implementing Six Sigma feel like pushing a boulder uphill in a hurricane? It just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It captures that frustration so many of us feel. Because we're so focused on the boulder, the technical stuff, the process itself. But the real fight, it's against that hurricane of invisible forces, the people, the culture, and the misaligned strategy.
Okay, so just to make sure we're all on the same page here, what exactly is Lean Six Sigma? Well, at its heart, it's a super disciplined way to hunt down and just obliterate defects and waste. The whole point is to make your processes so consistent, so reliable, that your performance becomes not just excellent, but predictable. That's the dream, right?
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to walk through this whole journey, breaking it down into a few key stages. We'll start with the human side of things, then talk about building a solid framework, figuring out the data, and this is the big one, making sure your success actually sticks around.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the most critical battlefield in any change initiative, winning over your people. Seriously, forget the complex formulas for a minute. The biggest, highest hurdles are almost always rooted in human nature.
And here's the first trap we all fall into. We mistake a signature on a piece of paper for genuine commitment. You hear it all the time, right? You need leadership buy-in. But we get confused. We think passive approval is the same as active championship. And let me tell you, getting that sign-off on the project charter, that is not the finish line. It's not even the starting pistol. And this right here, this shows you the massive difference. See, on one side you have passive approval. That's a leader signing some paperwork, maybe mentioning the project in a meeting, approving a budget. They're delegating it. But an active champion, they're in the trenches with you. They're the ones removing roadblocks, celebrating your wins out loud, defending the team when things get tough. One lets a project happen, the other one makes it succeed. Huge difference. All right, next hurdle. We often call it employee resistance. But honestly, that framing is a huge mistake. Resistance isn't some character flaw in your team. It's feedback. It's data. It's telling you that you haven't addressed their real concerns about their job security, about their workload, about why you're even doing this in the first place. So, what do? The solution is to listen, to treat that feedback like the valuable data it is. You have to communicate early and honestly. Answer that all-important question, what's in it for me, for every single person? And this is key, you have to involve them in creating the solution. Because when your team helps design the new process, that fear, it turns into ownership. Okay, so once you've got a handle on the people side of things, you need a really solid framework for the project itself. And this has to be in place before you even think about collecting a single data point. So many of these initiatives fail right out of the gate. And it's usually because they fall into one of two classic traps. First, there's the pet project, the one that gets picked because a senior leader has a gut feeling about it, not because the data supports it. The other one is the boil the ocean project, the type. It tries to solve a problem that is just so massive, it is absolutely doomed from the start. So here's a much, much smarter way to go about it. Instead of just relying on intuition, you use a simple, objective tool like this project selection matrix. By scoring your potential projects on things that actually matter, like how well does it align with our strategy? What's the real financial impact? How much effort will it take? You can see clear as day where you should be putting your time and money for the biggest possible return. Okay, and this is another huge, critical mistake. Underinvesting in your two most important resources, your people's skills and their time. I mean, think about it. You can't expect world-class results from an untrained team that's just trying to squeeze this in on borrowed time. It's setting them up to fail. So a really smart way to handle this is with a tiered training strategy. Because let's be honest, not everyone needs to be a statistical genius. Your leaders, maybe they just need a white belt, just enough to speak the language and understand the core ideas. The team members actually doing the work, give them a yellow belt so they can use the basic tools. And your project leads, they get the green belt, the comprehensive skills they need to really drive a project all the way to the finish line. All right, now we're getting into what people think of as the heart of Six Sigma, the data.
But what you're going to find is that even here, the biggest challenge is they're surprisingly human. It's rarely about the software. It's all about the culture that surrounds the information.
The problem usually isn't that you don't have enough data. In fact, most companies are absolutely drowning in it. The real problem is getting your hands on data that's clean, that's honest, and that you can actually do something with. And that, my friends, is a human problem. It comes from fear, right? Fear of being blamed, or different departments defining things differently, or even incentives to kind of massage the numbers to make things look a little better.
So, what's the solution? It's about creating what's called a culture of data amnesty. This means you have to make it psychologically safe for people to tell the truth, no matter how ugly that truth is. Leaders have to step up and publicly celebrate finding problems. Data needs to become a flashlight to find opportunities, not a hammer to blame people with. Okay, so let's say you do it. You have a successful project. You'd think you're done, right? Well, the final and honestly most disheartening challenge is still ahead, making sure all those hard-won gains don't just disappear over the next 6 months. So many organizations go through this. It's called the rubber band effect. The old way of doing things, those ingrained habits, they have this immense gravity. And without a deliberate structural effort to hold the new process in place, people and processes will slowly but surely snap right back to the old, comfortable way. And poof, all your hard work just evaporates. So to fight this, you have to literally hardwire the new way of working right into the DNA of the organization. How do you do that? Well, first, you standardize and document it. Make the new way the easiest way. Second, you tie it directly to performance. It becomes part of their job description, part of their review. And finally, and this is the big one, you build the culture. You move beyond just one-off projects to a place where continuous improvement isn't a special event. It's just how we do business around here.
So, as we've walked through all this, what's the big takeaway? The real secret to making Lean Six Sigma work isn't about mastering the complex math. It's about mastering the far more complicated, far more crucial human side of change. The toughest problems you're going to face aren't in the spreadsheets. They're in the meeting rooms, in the hallways, and in the unspoken fears of your team.
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. When you start on a Lean Six Sigma initiative, what are you really doing? Are you just managing a technical project with a start date and an end date? Or are you taking on the much bigger and way more valuable challenge of leading a true cultural transformation? Because how you answer that question, well, that's going to define whether you succeed or fail.